Hey everyone, it's been a little while since I recorded a video. I haven't been working on the game for probably 2 years, and then I started again about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm just doing it in my spare time, so work still takes up most of my time. But yeah, when I have spare time after work, I've just been adding some stuff, and I have some pretty exciting stuff I wanted to show in this video. But yeah, like pretty much all this patch notes here is from the last 2 weeks, except for these three I did probably a little bit after the last video, can't remember. But the thing as well that's made me stop back then was I got a new PC, and then I had to set up everything on it. So yeah, Visual Studio, all the model editing, all the video editing, all the everything that comes with it, image editing software, and then even the Monogame version I got, it was a newer version, so the code I had in the game, it wouldn't build. So I had to adjust all that to get it to actually build. And I think that was a year and a half ago that I got it working again, but I just didn't work on it. But I've had some recent motivation, and yeah, really want to slowly keep working on the game and one day maybe get it done. But yeah, some exciting stuff. So like the collisions detection, I finally got all that fixed to a point that I'm pretty happy with it. I've got added decals to when the bullets hit the walls. There's bullet damage and enemy health, destructible objects. There's fixed frame rate. I'll show it here right now before anything. But this, I've disabled it for now because that uses Monogame's fixed time step, and that doesn't really work too well. It's because the idea was when VSync is off, I want to give the players the ability to cap the frame rate. So if it's set to unlimited, you get your unlimited FPS, or if you want to cap it. But yeah, that currently isn't working. So I'll just leave VSync on. And then yeah, also the HUD highlight detail. So there's a new HUD when you look at objects, and then yeah, world items and interacting with the world items and getting them in your inventory. So yeah, that's just the intro. I'll get into the demo. The first thing I'll demo is the mouse sensitivity. So it's not much to demo really, it's just your aiming when you move your mouse, how much your is. So the higher amount means if I put that up, it's going to move faster with the less mouse movement, just like most games. The other thing I want to demo is the collision. So most of the collision is pretty much handled. There's still a few conditions, but like the doors will push you when you collide, just like that. I've handled the ramps, the sides. The only thing underneath the ramps you'll pass through, but yeah, that's kind of one I'm gonna leave, and just the workaround will be so you can't go under the ramps. So I put walls or whatever. And so by ramps I mean staircases and yeah, even uphill type things. So that's one of the things that isn't what I wanted, but I've spent so much time on the collision that how it is currently I'm going to keep, maybe with a few more minor changes, but most of the stuff now is okay. Like multi-wall collisions are smooth, being in the corner, being above, on floor planes like this, that isn't, well, this isn't, so this one here is collision type floor, but being here, this is collision type wall, so that needed to work. There's still another problem, and that's because of how I'm handling when the player goes inside an object. So in some cases you could be inside the object, but what I'm doing is inverting the vector, your movement vector. So when you come like here in the corner, if I do it, I can get the corner, you'll see it start to kind of vibrate. Yeah, see, like that. And that's because in that frame it's detecting I'm inside an object, so it's pushing me in the other direction. So that's to handle that condition. But the downside with that is, and this is one thing I still haven't resolved, even though I'm using the player's future bound, if the player is found to be inside the object when, say, you jump, so on this jump, and then the next frame it happens to be inside the object, it inverts the velocity, so it ends up pushing you back up in the same, well, with the same y velocity that you jumped. And that's kind of one remaining problem. And then, yeah, doors are alright, but they still, I mean, it's kind of a feature as well, like as you open it you can pass through it, and I think it's okay to leave like that. And I guess even, yeah, you can see I get stuck, and you can see the velocity is trying to push me out, but it can't because I'm colliding with the wall, but you still can get away. But it doesn't like throw you up or throw you down or something. So I think it's alright to handle how I'm handling it. But yeah, you can't really pass through underneath these floors or anything. The doors, yeah, that's mostly all handled now. So the next thing I want to demo is the decals. As you see here, where the bullet is colliding with the wall, it draws a decal model, and the rotation of it is facing the player, not at all times, just at the time of the collision. So if I go here, it's facing in this direction, and then if you go here, you can't see it. That's the last thing I'm trying to resolve with the decals, is I want it to face the normal of the plane it's on, but nowhere in the collision detection am I doing any sort of plane. What plane is it colliding with? Like even this, it's not by plane, it's by the normals. So currently have no way to tell on the collision event when the bullet collides with the wall, this is the normal I want it to face. Now that I'm mentioning it, now that I'm talking about it, I kind of am thinking there is a solution, but I need to actually try it out. So yeah, at the moment the decals just face the direction that the bullet direction was. That's basically how the decals are. But yeah, and then it works similar on collision. And then the only extra thing with the decals, it needs the distance, because there's no, with the collision detection, it doesn't detect where the collision occurred. It just, with what I put anyway, it just returns true or false whether a collision occurred between an AABB or an AABB or OBB with OBB, and then yeah, it just returns true or false. Like with the, say, the player to wall collision, if it's true, then the next step is to resolve the player's velocity, which is easy to, well, not easy to handle, but that's a separate issue compared to the decals, which is you need to actually know where the bullet hit the wall, and there's no information on that I'm actually getting. So what I'm doing is getting a distance, and with that distance it just draws where the bullet was. I guess I'll show it more in detail anyway when I get to the code. So that's the decals, and then each model's material, that's the one. Each object's material will change what kind of decals you get. So stone, I've just put these ones, they're just temporary. You get two of these different type of models. If it's metal, it'll be a different one. On grass, I haven't put a texture yet, so I'm using that one. The wood the same, no texture yet. And the entities, I've got the blood effect and some, you see there some new stuff too. But yeah, that's the decal as well, the blood splatter effect. So that's it for the decals. The next thing, I don't know how loud the rats are. I hope it's not so loud it's blocking my voice. I've dropped the sound volume and I've dropped it right down in the recording software as well, but I'll just turn it off. So yeah, with as you see here, that top bar, that's the health, and then the bullets, as you hit them it does damage. So pretty straightforward stuff. There's also, see these walls don't have health bars, so it doesn't draw the HUD. But then you've got like this E to interact, which actually follows the object now too. I was pretty happy, I got really happy when I implemented that, because it's such a simple thing, but it makes it look so much better than having it on a static, this press E to interact message on a static position on the screen, where it actually now follows the object. And that led into these HUD type stuff following the object as well. So yeah, like that, you'll see those walls and doors didn't show the HUD, but these ones do, and that's because these have a health bar. That's because these objects I've set as destructible. So yeah, it means, and in the game with pretty much everything will be destructible. That'll be another gameplay way to, you know, if you want to say break into the building, you can lockpick your way in, or through electronics, or just destroy the walls or something. But yeah, I'm going to balance it so that, you know, like destroying a door will take a lot of ammo, so you got to invest in ammo if you want to go down that path. And then yeah, so I want it to be possible, but maybe not realistic to do during a game, during a playthrough. So yeah, it's kind of an idea. So as you see there, when something gets destroyed, it just disappears for now. But yeah, you've got that HUD as well. That shows your health. You've got these corner positions. The other thing with the HUD is its size is dependent on the model size. So for here you can see it's kind of long and thin, because like the tree's model is long and thin. These ones are a bit wider. The door before, if I quit and new again, you can see it's like, yeah, kind of suited to the size. So that's kind of what I wanted to go for as well. The only thing as well, what you will notice, and it's only for this object because this is a rotatable, so the interact, I'm using an interact sphere for the objects. So this has a big interact sphere, so when you're looking away, I'm still within the interact sphere, so it's drawing this HUD element and it appears in front. but I'm just leaving that because it's only for this rotatable object, and I don't know if I'm going to have destructible rotatable objects anyway. And yeah, the other case is like the doors, but that I just used the frustum if the door is not in view, so that's why you don't get it appearing here, that HUD. But yeah, you've also got this info which tells you what the object is, stone door, its state, which is open or closed there for say the doors, or here with the enemies we got info rat, state, neutral. So, and the rats, they're not going to be enemies, they're just, as you're walking through the streets, you'll see like rats running through the garbage, and yeah, just to give ambience to the levels. And just happens the rat's the first thing I've added. So I've been testing a lot with that. And yeah, you can shoot them and they just disappear. But on death, I'll probably put like a pool, or that's, yeah, now I know what I'm going to do actually. On death, it's going to just change the model to the, we'll have like a dead object model there. And then, yeah, draw a pool of blood or something. And then, yeah, you'll probably be able to destroy the model as well if you need to. So yeah, that's the HUD I spent a little bit of time on. There's, I think that's everything with the HUD. I'm just looking at what I wrote down. But yeah, I was really happy with the HUD and the new, how it follows the model's position now as well. Makes it look much more professional, I guess, compared to, well, the E2 Interact being always on the same position. So yeah, and then yeah, also with the collisions, I fixed all the bullet collisions, all the model to model collisions. This is, it's even a bit better for performance as well. And seeing all this, it looks like nothing's changed, but I've made this really thin. And when I first made this floor thin, these were all passing through. So I've done something very different with the moving models, so these bouncing balls and the bullets. So, and then instead of using vectors, because that was originally the change, it was either I was using the, say, the bullets model's OBB position with the object it's checking to collide with, which wasn't ideal because, yeah, on high velocities, it could pass through the wall. So then I switched that to being a vector change, which also wasn't ideal. There were some issues. I think it, yeah, I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure it was to do with the decals. But there were still some issues. And then I think as well there was, yeah, in the lower corners, it would collide with the floor. So I added things like getting what model is the closest and then colliding with that one. So that still wasn't an ideal solution. So what I did is kind of a hybrid between it. It's generating an OBB, and only at this, when it's normal time dilation. So here, which is normal, you know, everything moves at normal speed. It's using OBBs because they're more accurate. So I'm drawing an OBB from the model's start position with the model's velocity as it's just as a float, and with the bullets it's just a bullet speed. So kind of, if you imagine, it's just like the bullet. If I actually, and I added this one as well so I could test the collisions properly. So if you have the bullet, if this is traveling super fast, you'll have the OBB in the shape of this bullet plus like a long extra tube to where the bullet is going to be in the next frame. So here it's going to be really small, and when time is slowed down, it actually starts using the AABB because it's better for performance. So yeah, on this one it'll be really small. It'll pretty much be the size of the bullet, but when time's sped up and normal again, because it's a really fast traveling bullet, the velocity would, the OBB, it'll just be a very long tube, and then if that tube collides with any wall or floor. So yeah, and then even with the bullet collisions, it was still up the top there, down here, it wasn't colliding properly. But yeah, now it's all sorted. And then if you speed up time, it collides properly as well. So that was another issue, is while time's slowed, if you have the bullets and then you sped up time, it could pass through the objects. So that's fixed now too, from using this OBB start to OBB end, OBB generation. So yeah, it's like, and then with this slow time, I can test how much performance heavy having so many bullets is, and it's not bad. Like it takes a lot of frames down after you've got a big amount of bullets, but I'm going to limit that anyway, so you won't be able to fire so many bullets like this when time's slowed. You can speed it up, see all those decals now where the bullets hit, and it just makes it look so much better. And then yeah, that's the collisions. So and then the other thing with the HUD, I'm probably going to attach this to a mod as well. By mod I mean like the head slot mod, you know, like slowing time. It's, if you go by Deus Ex, how they have the augments, you augment your head, you can put the HUD or something, or put the slow time in the head slot. You could put a light, like better low light vision in the eyes slot. So that's another thing. This will be for the eyes slot, and it'll be object info. So instead of it always displaying this info, it'll be an extra mod you can apply to your character. I don't think I've done any sort of, yeah, you can't, there's no UI yet for the mods. But yeah, so you'll attach a mod to your eyes, and that once that mod's active, you can see this info, and it'll be useful. And this is why I'm thinking it'll be better in the mod slot than in as a default functionality, because in this you'll be able to get info of like the state of the objects. You'll see if you do with the lock picking, how much of the door is broken, how much it's damaged, things like that, where without the mod slot you won't see it. So yeah, and it gives kind of a decision to make with what are you going to put in the eye slots, and it gives it weight as well. So it becomes like, is it going to be useful for my playthrough to see this info? You know, so depending on how you're playing, maybe you're doing like a stealth hacker playthrough, so you'll want to see this kind of information, where maybe you're just you're doing just like a, I don't know, just a talking playthrough or something. Yeah, like all that I still have to decide, but I have a lot of ideas that I want to do anyway. So yeah, there'll be stealth elements, there'll be hacking, there'll be, you know, lock picking, there'll be now destructible walls, and so all that I want to open it the way to how you play the game as well. So you know, you get an objective to do, you'll have all these different approaches that you could take. Like, say this, you have an enemy in here that you have to take out. Maybe you want to be sneaky and you hack in to the security cameras and hack into the alarm system and set off the alarm, make all the enemies come out of the building, then take them out. Or maybe you want to just sneak in and stealthily kill the one guy, or maybe you want to, I don't know, just blow the walls and then just shoot everyone. I don't know, you know, all these different play styles I want to enable in this game. So having all this, it gives more, I think the word is player agency, and that's what I'm going for. Is, yeah, it's an immersive sim, so I want it to feel like there's so many different things you can do. There's so many different ways you can go about it. Yeah, that's still a long way to go anyway. So the last thing I want to demo as well is the world objects. So I think in the previous videos I would have demoed this inventory. So if I just go add item, you know, you've got your items, and they couldn't interact in the world in any way. If you click that, it just deleted them. But now I've added the world objects. So here it's just using the cube model for now, and it's just because it's test item. But like this could be a candy bar or something, and then I just need to create or find a model for a candy bar, and that's the world model for that item. So here you can see when you hover over this, you've got that info, and then just the name of the item. It's test 1 by 1. You've got that same interact, that same HUD, and you can pick it up. I'll turn the audio back on now so you can hear some of the sounds associated with that. So here I've just picked up this item and it goes in the inventory, and all the inventory handling I already sorted when I did this menu here. So I didn't need to do much with, like, when you pick it up, find the position to put it in. That was already sorted. So like if I now want to drop that, I can drop it and it'll go wherever I'm standing, wherever I'm looking. So there, I've just dropped. Pick them up again. Now the other thing I still want to do is click and drag. So if you drag off the menu, inventory menu, it'll drop as well. But I haven't done that yet. So for now it's just click drop and it drops into the world. And you can pick them up. So if we drop and then we go, let's fill up the inventory. So let's just pick this up. So if we do this, we drop the item, not that one. If we drop, let's say we drop this item. Let's kind of jumble it a bit. So like this, now there's no space that a 2 by 2 item is going to fit in my inventory. So I won't be able to pick it up. I just put that error sound for now. So, and then if I make room, then I can pick it up. So just like that. Right, had room there. And yeah, so, and that was already functionality I made when I did this inventory years ago. So I just had to pretty much build these world objects and have them link to these items in the inventory and add the functionality for when it drops into the world. So even with that, there's still a lot to do, like giving the world items models, yeah, adding all the different items. Like there's only the 3 test items that I've been using, just so I can test the functionality. And yeah, even with this inventory, I would have showed all this. And here, this is where you'll see like your character, a 2D version of the person, and then you'll have like the squares kind of like this, that'll be your mod slots. So here, legs. You'll have things like improved jump height. Oh, that is, I see here, I've made the jump height really high so that I can test a lot more of the top of the objects as well. But yeah, like you'll have legs which improve jump height for the eyes, you know, the HUD view or the light, the slow time stuff. That'll be a head slot. Yeah, there's still a lot more that I have to decide with that, but yeah, like there'll be these ones here: head, eyes, skin. You know, some are pretty straightforward to think about. Skin, obviously some sort of armor plating, arms, maybe strength, I don't know, hands, accuracy, yeah, chest, probably underwater breathing if I add that. I don't know how I'm going to do water yet, but it could be a thing. Feet, legs, yeah. So that'll be added as it comes. But yeah, this is what I've worked on the last 2 weeks. I was going to give a demo and then go into code, but this demo has taken a long time, probably because I talked about it anyway. So I don't think I'll go into the code. So I think, yeah, just this demo. If there is anything you want me to talk about with more detail, just comment and I can talk about it a bit in the next video. But yeah, I think we kind of did the demo and gave a more descriptive details. So yeah, I was really happy with a lot of this stuff I added recently. So, and then to finally get the collisions at this point, like where it feels like most other games, because you know, like I was playing other games recently and just seeing how good the collision detection is, it's like, oh, I wish I could make my collision detection like that, and I kind of got it close. But yeah, like, and that's with this game, most of the stuff I'm kind of learning from playing with it, like from developing this stuff. Like I haven't been able to find any kind of definitive guide on how to do collision detection or how to do decals or HUD. Like I'm pretty much going from how I could think about resolving it, and then I don't know if they're good ways to resolve these issues. Like the multi-wall collision, I'm just doing my own way of doing it, how I resolve the player's movement vector on collision. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. I just pretty much was thinking about it and thought, you know, this will work, and then, you know, some things work, some things didn't, and then finally tried something else. Usually when I'm trying to sleep, some ideas come into my head and I try that and that works. So like all this, that's how all this is now, where it's at, where it's almost perfect. But like I know games may do it better ways. Like and what I wanted to do was check collision on per plane collision. So like if you're colliding with this side, it detects you've collided with that plane, and then you can tell it, you know, push this way. Same with the what I'm currently doing, but yeah, it's kind of, I think, a workaround with what I'm currently doing. But that's the way I want it to code anyway, and just self-discovery coding, I guess. I'll figure things out on my own. I have looked up some things, and especially things I got stuck, but yeah, and then just went by that, and that helped. In there was a few things, especially with, say, the decals. That one, I was going to talk about this if I demoed the code, but I didn't. Not going to demo the code, so yeah, like that. This is what led me to start working on the game again. Is even at work we started using Copilot, and well, one of the other developers was showing me what was it, ChatGPT that he was using, and I tried it out and asked it how do you detect player to plane collision, and it gave an answer, and I thought, oh, that it gave a pretty good answer. And then probably that was months ago, and then I thought, I really want to try that, and then I tried it, but it didn't work. But then it led me to start wanting to work on the game again. So it gave a suggestion, but the suggestion it gave didn't work. It was like, it was, what I had was performing better, but even what I had, it didn't detect kind of the sides properly, it didn't detect like with the ramp. And then, yeah, even though it didn't give the right answers, it led me to think about, how do I explain the problem to the AI? And by thinking about how to explain it, it led me to think how to resolve it. And then, yeah, from just keep working on it, yeah, I did that bounce thing just then. I finally got to a solution that works well. Yeah, with this, it works well. That I came to on my own, but with, say, the decals, I couldn't work that out on my own, and I tried GitHub Copilot, and yeah, it went through my code, my OBB code, collision detection, all that, and how it explained it, it was just an extra thing that was so simple. So with GitHub Copilot's help, I was able to get these decals working. So credit to the Copilot stuff for that. And so I've slowly been trying to use the AI assistance, but it goes against how I'm trying to develop with this game. Like, I'm building this all from scratch. I'm not using an existing engine, and I'm doing it that way because I want to learn. So if I'm going to start using AI to do things, it's going to go probably against the point I was doing, and I should have may as well have just used an existing engine like Unity or Unreal Engine. But I didn't want to do that. So yeah, I'm still doing most by myself anyway, and trying to come to the answers on my own. Yeah, I think from now I would be using a bit of AI assistance, but only to help me understand what I'm trying to do. But it has been pretty useful so far. For those points, useful for making me think about the problems and resolve the problems, like in the case of the decal positions. So yeah, kind of went on a bit there about all that, but yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it a bit anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's all I'll demo for this video. in the next one I want to try and work on, what was it? I've already forgotten what I was going to try and work on next, but yeah. And this video probably seems a bit all over the place because my other earlier videos, I know I segmented them and stuck to a point. This one I made the mistake of recording all at once and then just let it become whatever I talked about, so sorry for that. I think the next video though I will go back to segmenting it and sticking to the point. I hope this video has been interesting anyway. Pretty excited to demo that stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching.